Most of them are crooks. Why do I say that? Well, there's no reason anyone should be making $2 million and giving half of that money to the IRS. We often complain about the wealthy not paying taxes. How do you think they do it? Hey, it's CG Required Cash Flow. So I'm sure by now you all have seen the video with Sebastian Telfair saying how, even though he made more than $20 million in his NBA career, it still wasn't no money. $20 million. Now he said once you reduce taxes, expenses, and other sorts of things, and considering that was giving out over a 10-year span, when you break it down, he only netted about $1 million a year. And that's why it's no money. So in this video, I'm going to show you how not only is it money, it's a fortune. So let's dig into the numbers. But before we do that, I just want to say, this video is not about bashing Sebastian Telfair. I like Sebastian. As a matter of fact, I partially don't even really blame Sebastian that much. At the end of the day, you're talking about a young kid just coming out of high school, and now he's coming into all this money. He got his family depending on him. A lot of you are one of the first people inside your family just making money and everyone have their hand out. And you feel obliged to take care of the family. So I can definitely sympathize with that. So part of this video is not about Sebastian Telfair taking accountability. It's even more about another entity. I'm going to explain how. But let's dig into the numbers. So, $1 million net every single year. Let's take that $1 million, and I'm going to say this. Sebastian Telfair can do exactly what he did. He can take care of his family. He can enjoy his life, buy the things that shows that he's living his best life, with only one condition with that $1 million. You must allocate at least 10%. That's $100,000. Take that 10%, put it inside the stock market, specifically the S&P 500. If he only had made that one move, today it will be close to $8 million. Now, you may say, okay, Cyril, everyone doesn't really love stocks. That's fine. Let's say if he would have taken another 10% and he would have put it aside, just homes. You know, we love to buy homes, cars, things of that sort. Something tangible that you can actually look at. Okay, if he would have took the same money and he would have just bought a basic house in New York every single year or every other year, let's say a $500,000 house. Now, I know New York is a little bit more expensive than the rest of the country, but I do know that between the years of 2008 to 2013, you know, housing had completely plummeted. So you could pick up a lot of great houses for very cheap that are now 2x, 3x, sometimes even 4x what they were in 2008, 2009. So if he would have just bought some real estate every other year, let's say for 5 years, let's say he bought them as rental properties, probably had a family or member or something stay inside there, $500,000 house. He put down 20%, still $100,000. Do you know that those houses today would still be worth about 7 or 8 million? So if he had done both, put money in real estate, 10%, or just put money in the S&P 500, 10%, we're looking at about $15 million. And this is, remind you, this is not counting putting any more money after 2014 when he retired. But let's say if he had just continued to just invest, that would be well over $20 million. So you might say, okay, well, CG, $20 million is exactly back where he was when he made that money in the NBA. You told me it was a fortune. It's still about the same amount of money. That's true. Here's the one exception. There's a big difference between earning $20 million and having $20 million. Let me say that again. There's a big difference between earning $20 million and having $20 million. $20 million in your possession. That $20 million specifically put inside the S&P 500 it will produce $2 million every year, 10%. $2 million. Tell me that's not a fortune to live off every single year. He wouldn't have even needed to use the $2 million every year. Let's say he would have just only pocketed half of that every year to live off. So that's $1 million. The other million is put back into the $20 million, still growing his capital, and he's living off $1 million. But like I said, I partially blame Sebastian. Who I put most of the blame on is the NBA and the experts working with athletes in those organizations. Specifically, let's say in this case, the financial advisor. So think about it. Sebastian Telfair, he came in the league with LeBron James. I remember it like it was yesterday. They were like the face of the league coming in, both on magazines, so it was a lot of eyes on him. And I'm sure there was a lot of experts being around him, agents, accountants, financial advisors. So that $1 million a year compared to LeBron James probably was nothing in his eyes. However, he still had access to those same experts that LeBron James had access to, that Carmelo Anthony had access to. He had that access. Now the question is, what was the role of the financial advisor inside Sebastian Telfair's career? Because only thing the financial advisor had to do was say, hey, Sebastian, no matter how much you spend, no matter how many people you take care of, you have to set aside 10%. Just that. Just that one advice. He's not telling Sebastian, hey, take this money and put it aside, this angel fund, buy these specific types of alternative assets. You're not saying that. You're saying, Sebastian, whatever you do, here's the history of the S&P 500. It has an average of 10%. Make sure you're allocating at least 10% of this money to that S&P. That's it. That one piece of advice will have Sebastian sitting totally different today. So this should be a crime. Where's the crime with these financial advisors in the NBA and all of these athletes? Sebastian's not the first one. Do you know how many athletes have said they had this amount of money as a teenager, they got around these people, and they went broke? Think about what that's like. Everyone else around Sebastian, everyone else around these other athletes getting rich, except the athlete who's already rich. Make that make sense. That would be like you going into your job. The person that's paying you, your company, they're paying you, they're paying your coworker. All of you guys get rich and get a lot of money, but yet the company is bankrupt. Your company would never allow you to get rich while that company go broke. Won't happen. So why is it constantly happening with athletes? Why are we always overlooking this? Why is this part never talked about? How the financial advisors inside the NBA, NFL, why are they not being looked at? Why are they not being investigated? That's where the real crime is. You can't sit up here and tell me that Sebastian Telfair having access to the best experts around him and no one actually got rich off Sebastian Telfair while he went broke. This is not just blaming the financial advisor. The tax accountants for these athletes, they deserve the exact same criticism. Most of them are crooks. Why do I say that? Well, there's no reason anyone should be making $2 million and giving half of that money to the IRS. Any strategic accountant will tell you, hey, you need to be starting a business so you can get some of these tax breaks. You need to create a foundation so you can basically shield that money with inside those organizations. We often complain about the wealthy not paying taxes. How do you think they do it? The real estate that he had. Do you know how many tax breaks there is in real estate? So I'm saying this because oftentimes we blame these athletes, but no one ever look at the experts around them. That's the investigation. There is no reason everyone should get rich off the person who made them rich while that person is poor. Never should happen. But you know what? This video is not even about Sebastian. What this video is about you. It's about regular people who's watching people on the internet, watching these people on Instagram who's flossing and they're co-signing on this message that $1 million is no money. Or even let's take it down to $500,000. Them saying, oh, that's not no money. Now, mind you, the average salary inside America is about $50,000. So let's just forget about the $1 million that he was making every year. Let's just take $1 million, making it one time. Putting $1 million inside your pocket one time can create a fortune. But why do you say that, CG? Okay, $1 million put into the same S&P 500 will produce $100,000 every year. Not one time, every year. You don't even have to live off the 100,000. I just told you, most people only make, or the average salary is only about 50,000. Average household is about 70,000. So you only have to live off 5% of that, $50,000. That's going to take care of most people's households easily. So you're living off 50,000 every year, and the other 50,000 that was made every year, that's going back into your capital, growing that money. Now you have $1 million in perpetuity. Don't let them convince you that $1 million isn't no money. So I have to put this video out there because there are impressionable kids watching these videos thinking that the bar has to be this high when really where they are at, that's beneficial. Where you are at right now, don't let anyone convince you that the money you're saving, that the money you're investing is small potatoes. Most people are 2 paychecks away from being on the street. If they lost their job right now, how long would they survive? How long would you survive? That's the question. Because it's easy to say something is not no money when you still have money coming in. But what about when that money stops? That's why it's important to be putting money towards these assets. Tell me, how much is enough for you to feel comfortable? See you guys in the next video.